All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Curiosity Corner Live. We are going to take just a few moments and let more folks at home join us. So I hope everyone is having a good day so far. And you are in for another special episode of Curiosity Corner Live because all week long we've been highlighting some of our favorite Camp Curiosity activities. And we still have now 3 weeks of camp left because we just announced our brand new bonus week with some more fun themes for kids in grades kindergarten through 8th grade. We also have some at-home options available as well. So make sure if you want to come to camp that you check out our website, greatscience.com, for all of that information. Let's see. Oh, good morning, Anthony. So let's see. Also, if you go over to our website, greatscience.com, you can find information about our brand new just announced learning lab. So it's going to run all fall where kids can come here and work on their virtual learning stuff here. So all of that information for Learning Lab is also on our website, greatscience.com. It's on the bottom of the screen right now. Yay. All right. So I think it has been just about enough time. So good morning again, everyone. Welcome back to Curiosity Corner Live. My name is Joy. I am a guest engagement specialist at the Great Lakes Science Center, and I'm coming to you live from GLSC. And today we are going to be talking about something called electroplating. Now, a bunch of our campers got to experiment with electroplating so far this summer. And what electroplating is it's a process that involves electrochemistry. So there's a chemical reaction that's causing electrons to move and flow, and it causes some really interesting reactions. Now, in order to electroplate, you use that sort of you use electricity and chemistry to put a thin layer of metal or a plate onto another metal. So say something is made of steel, but it has like a copper exterior, then it's copper plated. So you can plate with a number of metals. You can plate with copper or chrome or gold if you've ever heard of anything that has any type of plating. It's just a thin layer of metal on top of another layer of on top of the inner core of metal. Now, there's a bunch of different reasons why you would electroplate something, from wanting to protect that metal from corrosion to wanting to improve the appearance of something or increase its value. Now, we are going to learn about electroplating using an experiment that our Camp Curiosity campers got to try, where we see if we can copper plate a paperclip using a penny. So first things first, safety is very, very important. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and tilt my screen down so you can see the table in front of me. So I have here, this is just a beaker of vinegar, just your everyday run-of-the-mill vinegar. And this vinegar is an acid, so it works really, really well for experiments like this. So I'm going to add some kosher salt. Now, salt helps electricity flow really, really well. And I'm going to be using kosher salt instead of regular table salt because table salt is iodized, kosher salt is not. And I'm just going to go ahead, pour that in there, swirl it around a little bit, get some of that all nice and mixed in. So I have here, this is my solution that I'm going to be using. Now, I need my circuit. So I have here this nifty contraption. This is a 9-volt battery. This is going to be my power source. And on the positive terminal, we know it's positive because there's a little plus sign right there. On the positive terminal, I have a clip that is attached to a penny. And it's very important for electroplating that we use pennies that were minted before 1982. And the reason why we're using a penny that was minted before 1982 is that, except in wartime, pennies that were minted before 1982 have a higher copper content than newer pennies. So you get a much better reaction. Specifically, this is from 1974. And also, I have on the negative terminal, I have just a paper clip clipped on to my nifty battery. So this is not a circuit yet. It's a battery clipped to some stuff. So I'm going to go ahead, bring this back, and I'm going to submerge my paper clip and my penny into the vinegar solution. Now, not all the way, because I don't want to get vinegar on my alligator clips, because that can cause the alligator clips to get all gross and corroded, and that would not be good. So You can't really see it on the screen, unfortunately, but there's some little bubbles that are forming near my paper clip. And what happened was I completed the circuit. So what's happening is the electric charge is starting in the battery, going through the one wire, into the metal, through the solution, and then into the penny. So what's happening is a process called electrolysis. And in that, the vinegar is reacting with the copper, and it's pulling those copper ions off of the penny and pulling them away as it dissolves away, and they're just kind of floating around in the vinegar. So that's the actual reaction. That's the electrolysis. Where electroplating comes in is in the charge. So opposite charges attract. If you've ever played with a magnet before, you know that north and north push away and north and south stick together because opposites attract, like charge. Yeah, opposites attract, like charges repel. Same thing works with electricity. So remember I said my penny was attached to the positive terminal of my battery. That means the penny is positively charged. And because the penny is positively charged, the copper that's coming off of the penny is also positively charged. And the actual paper clip is connected to the negative terminal of the battery, which means the paper clip is negatively charged. So because the penny is positive and the copper is positive, the copper that's coming off of the penny is attracted to the paper clip, which is how we are able to electroplate some copper onto the paper clip. So this reaction can take about 20 minutes to get to its full completion. So I'm going to leave this sit for a minute, but I can show you one that's already done. So I did this experiment a couple of days ago. I'm just going to awkwardly hold this while I do this. This is the penny from that experiment. And you can kind of see that some of that copper is gone. There's a very distinct line. You can tell where it was submerged into the vinegar and where it was attached to the clip. So this is where that copper was stripped away. That looks pretty cool. And the paper clip is right here. This one's a little trickier to see on a webcam, but you can see sort of that there's that random color change in the middle of the paper clip where it's darker in the middle. Those are those copper ions that are stuck to the paper clip. So that is pretty cool. We just changed the appearance of a penny and a paper clip using electrochemistry. Now, here's the thing. You can copper plate even without electroplating. It just takes a lot longer. So what I also did was I took this clear plastic jar. This is just an old jar. Then I filled it about 2 inches up, not really high, maybe like there, with lemon juice. And then in there, I threw some pre-1982 pennies for that higher copper content and a little sprinkle of salt. And then I sanded down a nail and threw the nail in, and then I just let it sit for an hour. And as a result, I have here this nail. You can kind of see how the tip is pretty dark. As a contrast, this end is really light, and then it gets darker and darker and darker, and they have a much darker tip because that's where the copper went, because that was the most submerged in the lemon juice. I had the end sitting out up above the lemon juice line so I could grab it out easily. So we were able to copper plate without electricity. It just took a lot longer. By contrast, here's the penny. You can kind of see some color difference from where the copper was stripped away, but this was about an hour. And the one that I did with electroplating, this was about 20 minutes. So electroplating is much quicker and the results are a whole lot more drastic, but you can still copper plate without electricity. So keep in mind, the full reaction will take about 15 to 20 minutes. This has only been sitting in for about 6 or 7, but we can still take a look at where our penny's at. So here's our penny. You can start to see, you can see the color change of where it was submerged. Not super drastic yet, because again, 6 minutes, but you can see that the electroplating has already taken effect because it's taken away some of that copper color. Here, let me take it off the thing. Whoop. There we go. Yeah. Looks like I might have gotten the alligator clip a little bit, but you can see it much better on the back. You see that nice little curve line where it was submerged and where it wasn't. And then we also have, let's take a look at our paper clip. Woo! We also have that nice dark copper plated section starting to form. Yeah, so that's electroplating. We used a chemical reaction and electricity to change the appearance of a penny and a paper clip right before your very eyes. And we learned so much about electroplating and how different metals are plated. Now, that leads me to your challenge for today, which is to try your own copper plating experiment at home. Now, I'm not saying get a 9-volt battery. I would recommend doing the lemon juice and salt one. It's much easier and, doesn't involve electricity. But yeah, all you need is a little bit of lemon juice, some pennies, throw them in a cup or a jar, and then throw in a pinch of salt and a nail, and then just leave it sit. Now, first of all, make sure you have an adult to help you out. But you can see what sort of metals you can plate, whether it be paper clips or nails or screws or bolts or any other tiny little metal object that you have permission to use, because even though this is still usable as a penny, because you can still see everything, not everyone wants their stuff plated with other things. So try out your own copper plating experiment with some loose change, and then see what sort of cool plating you can do and how much you can change your little metal object. And then share your results with us. Take photos of what you experiment with and what you create. Share them with us on social media. Tag us. Use our hashtag StayCuriousCLE. And then when you are done experimenting, you can clean up, wash your hands, because this is getting a little messy, and then put all of your materials away. And then you can get excited for our next all-new episode of Curiosity Corner Live. We are continuing with our week of Camp Curiosity programming tomorrow at 10:30 with my friend Kayleen, and she's going to be teaching you more about spy science and some different tools that spies might use and how you can make your own versions at home. So that is going to be so much fun. So make sure you come back tomorrow and every weekday at 10:30 for our next all-new episode. So until then, get plating, have fun, and until next time, stay curious.